Right now, as you watch this, an object is leaving our solar system. It is traveling away from the Sun at over 200,000 kilometers an hour. And it is never coming back. It arrived from the dark between the stars. It spent a single year inside our cosmic neighborhood. And in that year, the most powerful telescopes ever built were pointed directly at it, trying to answer one question. What is it? We still don't have a clean answer. We have data. We have 22 separate anomalies. And we have a quiet, uncomfortable argument happening between some of the most serious scientists alive. Its name is 3I Atlas. It is older than the Sun. It is made of water that should not exist here. And the path it took through our solar system had a 1 in 500 chance of being an accident. This is its file. Let's start with what is not in dispute. On the 1st of July 2025, a survey telescope called ATLAS, the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, caught a faint moving dot. Routine. The system finds thousands of objects. But this one was different. Astronomers traced its path backwards and realized it wasn't orbiting our Sun at all. It was just passing through, on a path that could only have come from interstellar space. That makes it only the third confirmed interstellar object in human history. The first was Oumuamua in 2017, a strange cigar-shaped sliver that accelerated in a way comets don't, and left before we could get a good look. The second was Comet Borisov in 2019, far more ordinary. And now the third, 3I. The I stands for interstellar. But here is the first thing that made researchers lean in, because this time we saw it coming. We confirmed it 4 months before its closest approach to the Sun. That gave us something we never had with Oumuamua. Time. Time to aim Hubble. Time to aim the James Webb Telescope. Time to point spacecraft that were already out there in deep space. For once, we were ready. And the closer we looked, the stranger it got. Every object in our solar system shares a rough birthday. The Sun, the planets, the comets, they all formed from the same cloud of gas and dust about 4.5 billion years ago. 3I Atlas does not share that birthday. By studying how it moves through our galaxy, its speed, its direction, the population of stars it travels with, astronomers estimate this object is somewhere between 7 and 11 billion years old. Let that land for a second. If the high end is right, this thing is more than twice the age of our Sun. It may be older than our entire solar system. It was already ancient when the Earth was nothing but scattered dust. It formed around a different star, a star that, in all likelihood, died billions of years ago. And then it drifted, through the cold and the dark, for longer than the Earth has existed, until, for one single year, it passed through our sky. That alone would make 3I Atlas one of the most extraordinary objects ever observed. But age was only the beginning. In early 2026, a team led by the University of Michigan published something genuinely surprising in the journal Nature Astronomy. They had measured the water inside 3I Atlas. Not just that it had water, comets often do, but what kind of water? Here's the idea. Water is 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom, but hydrogen comes in a heavier version called deuterium. The ratio of normal water to heavy water is like a chemical fingerprint. It tells you how cold it was, where an object was born. When they measured 3I Atlas, the number was off the chart. It contained roughly 30 times more heavy water than a typical comet from our own solar system. More than 40 times the heavy water in Earth's oceans. In plain terms, This object formed somewhere colder than almost anything we've ever sampled. A frozen, isolated corner of the galaxy. A region that, the researchers suggest, hadn't even finished forming into a solar system of its own. So now the file reads like this. An object older than the Sun, born in a place colder than our own outer planets, carrying chemistry we have never seen up close. And it gets harder to explain from here. This is the anomaly that turned a fascinating comet into a genuine scientific argument. When an object falls in from interstellar space, it can come from any direction. Up, down, sideways. The galaxy doesn't care about the flat plane our planets orbit in. So you'd expect a random visitor to arrive at a steep, random angle. 3I Atlas did not. Its path was aligned with the orbital plane of our planets to within about 5 degrees. The Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb, who also raised questions about Oumuamua, calculated the odds of a random object lining up that closely. The number he arrived at was around 0.2%, roughly 1 in 500. Now, and this matters, a 1 in 500 event is not impossible. Unlikely things happen constantly. Somebody wins the lottery. But Loeb's point is more pointed than that. A trajectory aligned with our planets is exactly the trajectory you would choose if you wanted a close look at the inner solar system, at the Sun, at the planets, at us. He's careful with his language. He has not said it is alien technology. On his own scale, where 0 is an ordinary comet and 10 is confirmed alien hardware, he has placed 3 Atlas at a 4. But a 4 is not a 0, and he listed not 1, not 2, but 22 separate features of this object that he considers anomalous. The alignment is just one of them. So let's do the honest thing. Let's take both sides of this seriously. Because the truth is, the scientific community is genuinely split. Most astronomers, and this is important, believe 3I Atlas is a natural comet, an extraordinary one but natural, and their case is strong. First, it behaves like a comet. As it neared the Sun, it brightened. It grew a coma, that fuzzy glowing cloud of gas and dust. It vented material. Oumuamua never did this. 3I Atlas does. That's textbook comet behavior. Second, the telescopes back it up. The Subaru telescope in Hawaii measured its chemistry, its carbon dioxide, its water, and found it consistent with an object that formed in the cold outer region of some distant solar system. Strange chemistry, yes, but natural chemistry. Third, the age and the weird water aren't evidence of design, they're evidence of origin. An ancient object from a cold star will naturally look bizarre to us because we've only ever sampled our own neighborhood. Unfamiliar is not the same as artificial. And the trajectory, a 1 in 500 coincidence, is still, by definition, a coincidence that happens. We've now found 3 interstellar objects in under a decade. The galaxy is full of these wanderers. Eventually, one of them was going to come in at an interesting angle. That is the mainstream view. Rare rock, ancient ice. Remarkable but explainable. It is almost certainly the correct one. But almost certainly is doing a lot of work in that sentence. So let's hear the other side. The minority view doesn't claim to have proof. It claims something more modest and more unsettling, that we shouldn't close the file too early. There was a preprint, not yet peer-reviewed, so hold it lightly, that catalogued a cluster of features its authors found difficult to explain by outgassing alone. An unusual ratio of metals, a jet of material pointed toward the Sun against the pressure of the solar wind, a strange repeating symmetry in how it vented, and tiny shifts in its acceleration. Now, preprints are not facts. Many such claims get corrected or fall apart under proper review. That's how science is supposed to work. But here is the argument that's hard to fully dismiss. With Oumuamua, we hesitated. We assumed ordinary. We took our time, and it slipped away before we could resolve the questions. We will never get those answers now. The people raising flags about 3I Atlas are in a sense saying, don't make that mistake twice. When something this rare passes through, once, briefly and never again, the responsible move isn't to dismiss the strange parts. It's to measure everything and stay honest about what we don't know, and what we don't know is still a long list. So where does that leave us? 3I Atlas made its closest pass to Jupiter in March of 2026. As it left, it was brighter than when it came in, shedding more dust, venting more gas. And, importantly, scientists watched closely for any sign of artificial light, any glow it might be producing on its own. So far, they have found none. No engine, no signal, just an ancient fading point of light heading back into the dark. By now, it's already over 1 billion kilometers away, beyond Jupiter, shrinking past the reach of our telescopes. We are still waiting on the last batch of data from a spacecraft that watched it during that close approach. A few final pages for the file. And then, that's it. Because of how perfectly its path was aligned with ours, here's the quiet truth. We will likely never see an object like this again. Not in our lifetimes. Maybe not in many lifetimes. It crossed 11 billion years and the entire width of the galaxy to spend 1 year in our sky. And we still cannot say with total certainty what it was. A comet, almost certainly. Ancient ice from a dead star, behaving exactly as physics says it should. Or a 1 in 500 visitor, arriving at the one angle that lets it see everything. The data is closing, the object is gone, and the file stays open. This has been Earthling Files. If you want to make your own call on what 3I Atlas really was, the verdict's yours. Leave it in the comments. We read them. The next file is already being opened.